Well, the Philadelphia Eagles dominate the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22, and we right here to talk about it live on the replay. Buckle up, let's ride. Welcome in, everybody. We're live right here on the replay where we're still trying to make your day. We're talking live, broadcasting right here, streaming on all platforms, and we're talking about Super Bowl 59, where the Philadelphia Eagles have dominated your won't be no three-peat, your repeated two-peat champions, the Kansas City Chiefs, 40-22. And I got to be honest, guys, I wasn't going to come on here this evening, but you know what? Football season now is officially over. It's been a long year, a long season. So we got to talk about it. But before we do any of that, please hit that subscribe, like, share, notification button for me. And we're going to start talking about it right now because, again, I don't know what you all had expected. Honestly and truthfully, I had the Kansas City Chiefs putting this game out in a very, very close one. I thought maybe it'll probably even go into overtime, but somehow, some way, Superman Patrick Mahomes will put on his cape and find a way to get it done. But that was not the case. The Philadelphia Eagles, I mean, they came out swinging. And, you know, as much as I don't like them dang on birds, I got to give them credit. The defense, coached by defensive coordinator Vic Fangio, came out and had an excellent game plan strategy. I mean, they pressured them boys out the gate. Do you hear me? Pressured them boys out the gate. And that's the way you want to draw it up if you're a defensive coordinator. You know, Andy Reid, as great as he is offensively, didn't have an answer, didn't have a clue. A couple of times I didn't quite understand. I was watching the alignment of Travis Kelce. He was playing really a right tackle, lined up as a right tackle. And a couple of times he was trying to slip how you just step and hit that, you kind of graze the defensive end, sweating them, but he really didn't get a block on him. And it was all kind of pressure all in front of Patrick Mahomes' face. And he was trying to slip out for a little old tight end screen pass or whatever they call themselves doing. But 2 times in a row, he lined up in that formation, and they ran the same exact play, and I did not understand what was Andy Reid looking at. Andy Reid, what was you thinking about today? I don't know if your mustache was too thick. I don't know if Bourbon Street, Canal Street, the whole ambiance of New Orleans, maybe it was the seafood that did it. Whatever it was, you guys played horrible. You all played horrible. Big shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles. And what can you say about Jalen Hurts? Jalen Hurts. If there's one, I guess, exception that I would make, it would be Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts played his butt off. He was 17 of 22 for 221 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. And that was really an underthrow of pressure that got in his face by the linebacker Bolton from the Kansas City Chiefs. But he played with a lot of poise. He was relaxed when he came into the game. I think that 800-pound gorilla is officially off of his back. It's officially off of his back. You can't say anything more about Jalen Hurts. He's the only exception to that rule that I will make. He's the only exception to that rule that I will make with the Philadelphia Eagles. Had it been the Washington Commanders, had it been the New York Giants, and of course my beloved Dallas Cowboys, I would have definitely been rooting for the NFC East. But it's something about the Philadelphia Eagles that I just cannot stand. And it goes all the way back, to be honest with you, it goes all the way back with Michael Irvin. You know, he hurt his vertebrae when we played up there in the old vet stadium that they had. And they were sitting there cheering while Michael Irvin laid down on the carpet. And being a former player, man, my heart went out not only to Mike, but to his family. And you had the audacity to cheer. I mean, you know, that this guy was laying down on the carpet. So I thought that was classless. That's one of the reasons why out of all of the NFL, we know we got our certain rivals with the Washington Commanders. Philadelphia Eagles, what are New York Giants? But out of all the teams in the NFC East, I can't stand the Philadelphia Eagles simply because they fans are classless. They're classless. They talk about the Dallas Cowboys, I mean, when it's not even anything to talk about. I just don't want to see them win. Now, is it a win for the NFC East as a whole? Sure it is. It is, because right now with them winning Super Bowl 59, that puts the NFC East combined 21 championships, 14 Super Bowls combined. That's more than any other NFL division in the entire league. So it's a lot to be said about the NFC East, because we are still the beast when it comes to Super Bowl appearances, Super Bowl championships, as well as NFC championships. So you can't take that away from any of the teams. Dallas Cowboys have 5 Super Bowl, 8 appearances, along with the New York Giants, 4 Super Bowls. Washington Commanders, when they was the Washington Redskins, 3 Super Bowls, and now you have the Philadelphia Eagles with 2 Super Bowls. So the NFC East is still alive. There was a moment or a time when they had kind of lost their prowess, if you will, their standings. They started calling the NFC East the NFC least. But that's no more. And it only gets better because you got young people like, Jaden McDaniel and them with the Washington Commanders, and I'm quite sure the Giants going to try to make some moves. Who knows? They may draft Cam Ward. They may draft Shedeur Sanders. But the NFC East is alive and well. But when it comes to these lonely Cowboys, I'm still not sure. And it ought to be something that's said about this guy, Jalen Hurts, again. Got drafted. We all know the story pretty much. Went to Alabama. Here's a kid who lost his job at, Alabama. They put him in for a few plays. He brought Alabama back to get him to the SEC championship, only to have the job given back to Tua. And so he transfers to Oklahoma, finished second in the Heisman. And, it was a lot coming out of, Oklahoma when Philadelphia drafted him. They were saying, well, he's not really a pocket passer. He's not this. He's not that. Well, all they did was went and got a coach by the name of Nick Sirianni, and they found out what it was he does best. And they tailor fit his strengths as opposed to his weaknesses. And another shout out to Kellen Moore, the former offensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys. He came in, with a set mindset, and he did an excellent job in calling plays this year. I think he's going to take the New Orleans Saints job. At least that's what's being reported. But, shout out to Kellen Moore. He's now a Super Bowl winning coach. Not head coach, but as an offensive coordinator, assistant head coach, he has that ring just the same that goes on his resume. But what about them Dallas Cowboys? What about those Dallas Cowboys? And if there's any doubt that defense still wins championships, the Philadelphia Eagles just gave you that blueprint. They just gave you and reminded you that defense still wins championships, bar none. Just like the Dallas Mavericks trade. I know everybody was still up in a roar about that. But again, at the end of the day, defense wins championship. That's how we got our championship in 2011. Don't think it was just because Dirk Nowitzki went off or something like that. No, we played defense. Tyson Chandler, he defended the rim well. So defense is still alive. It still wins championships. And the Philadelphia Eagles proved that this evening. It was nothing, absolutely nothing that the Kansas City Chiefs, I've never witnessed a game. Andy Reid as the offensive coordinator, head coach, offensive coordinator, Patrick Mahomes. Well, these guys, I don't know if they got I hadn't checked the stats, but I don't think they got a first down in the first half. If they did, it was probably only one. Only one first down. And of course, the Philadelphia Eagles was clock dominant. I mean, they did what they, normally they do, control the clock. But I got to say this, though, again, the Kansas City Chiefs defense didn't play bad. Yeah, they gave up some plays here and there. Like any defense would at some point when you on the field most of the time. But they came in, with the idea of stopping the run against Saquon Barkley. And they did a magnificent job of that. But, when your offense is out there, man, turning the ball over, they have no pass protection whatsoever. It seemed like they was playing on JV. And if I was a Kansas City Chiefs fan, man, I'll start checking everybody's records. I want to know who's paying who. I want to know who got paid. Was Patrick Mahomes, playing the numbers. Did they build this thing up, this three-peat just to bet against it or whatever? I don't know, but it just seems to me like the Kansas City Chiefs wasn't aware that there was a game today. For whatever reason, they came out so flat. And again, I'm not taking anything away from the Philadelphia Eagles because the Philadelphia Eagles defense had a lot to do with that. Them boys, Jalen Carter and Sweating them. I mean, man, they played their tail off. Brandon Graham. I mean, I don't know who they gave because I didn't see it. I started the show, so I don't know who won the MVP. But in my book, my vocabulary, I would have certainly given the MVP to that front four or front seven, if you will, of the Philadelphia Eagles. Really, because they set the tempo against a great passing offense. One of the greatest, offensive minds ever in the game under Andy Reid. And they really shut them boys down. Hey, shout out to Blessings. I see you, Blessings. I want to thank y'all for coming on, joining me real quick. This is the replay where we're still trying to make your day. We're live, and we're doing post-game coverage of Super Bowl 59, where you have the Philadelphia Eagles dominating the Kansas City Chiefs 40-22. And those other points were really mock points, if you ask me. Those were just points that they just gave up. But it wasn't no game. It wasn't close at all. It wasn't close at all. But, yeah, again, talking about the Philadelphia Eagles defense, that GM they got, man, Howie Roseman, man, big shout out to that guy. Big shout out to that guy. He bring in and go drafted a rookie, Cooper DeJean, who's in a Super Bowl his rookie year, picks off Patrick Mahomes and runs it back for a touchdown. That just don't happen like that every day, guys. That doesn't happen like that. So he can talk about that until he's 80 years old to his great-great-grandkids, how he picked off the great Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl and ran it back for a touchdown. I mean, whatever Patrick Mahomes tried to do, the Eagles had his number. And he got so happy feet in the pocket. He was dancing, running up in the middle, getting sacked. And then on that errant throw, the second interception that he threw down there, I think on his own 10, 15-yard line to the linebacker right before the half, I mean, he got bumped. The guy actually pushed, I think it was Sweat pushing the left tackle to make him bump into Patrick Mahomes. And he just, got rid of the football. And it was a great play by the Eagles linebacker. But I just haven't seen the Philadelphia Eagles, play with this much tenacity against Andy Reid. But obviously, they hadn't forgot about how they lost that first Super Bowl a couple of years back, or maybe about 3 years back now, because from my understanding, Coach Vic Fangio, that was one of the things he did. He showed them that film of how they lost that game being up by 10 points. So you want to definitely get that bad taste out of your mouth. Certainly want to get that bad taste out of your mouth. So, the Philadelphia Eagles came out and played a heck of a game. And I'm going to tell you, I have to admit, it hurts me. It pains me to say that because I know some of my guys who are Philadelphia Eagles fans, shout out to my man Willie Draco out of St. Louis and my brother Boulder Fleming, man, up there in Indiana. I know they bragging up a storm right now. They celebrating everything else. And again, I wouldn't feel so bad if the Philadelphia Eagles fans wasn't as obnoxious or rude as some of us Dallas Cowboys fans are. So I guess they say turnabout is fair play, but they're really rude, really rude. The Eagles fans, man, they just, I'm happy again for Jalen Hurts. He will be the only exception, being a Texas boy anyway from Channelview, Texas. And everything that he's gone through. But the Eagles as a whole, nah. But I got to give them credit. I have to give them credit. And again, the GM, Howie Roseman, how he just goes in and draft players and pick players up and bring these guys in. And they got a nice culture. They got a nice fit. And I just look at this team, man. I say, man, you know what? They're willing to spend the money. They're willing to try to find a way, make a way out of no way. I mean, you went and got Darius Slay one year. Went and got Saquon Barkley. Went and got A.J. Brown. And the list go on and on. And you mean to tell me our GM/owner, he can't even go. Like right now, you got Myles Garrett, who many of y'all remember when he came out of Texas A&M, went public and said, Jerry, come get me. Kind of sound like when my guy Eric Thomas. Is it Eric Thomas? That played with the Seattle Seahawks out of Texas, ran up the tunnel when Jason Garrett was a quarterback, and he asked them to come get him. He wanted to come play with the Dallas Cowboys. Well, that's the same thing King Henry said. He living in Dallas. He want to come play with the Dallas Cowboys. Jerry Jones don't do it. He don't do it. Then you got Myles Garrett, he's telling the Cleveland Browns, hey, man, I've been here however many years, 8 years, whatever it's been now. We're not going to win a Super Bowl. I've done all I can do for your organization. Trade me. Trade me. And even though, they talked about Washington, they talked about Philadelphia taking a look at Myles Garrett, even Detroit Lions. Shout out Blessings. I know you might want your Detroit Lions to certainly get him. I have no doubt if Jerry Jones want him, he would sign with the Dallas Cowboys. He's on record saying, hey, man, I know Michael Parsons money is coming up, but there's a way to do it. And Michael Parsons said, hey, I'll take less money as long as I'm making a little bit more than him, though. He did stipulate that. Well, Jerry's not going to do it. He's not going to do it. So I'm not even, like I said, I'm a free agent right now. Just by his hiring these type of coaches that he's been hiring and giving them opportunity, he go and hire 2 African-American assistant coaches. Once again, the running backs coach, Derek Foster, and then the defensive back coach, David Overstreet II, which I'm happy for David Overstreet because I remember his dad, David Overstreet, that played running back for the Oklahoma Sooners back in the 70s. Great running back. He was in the backfield in the wishbone with my man Billy Sims. He died in a car wreck, horrible car wreck. But his son is now coaching defensive backs of the Dallas Cowboys. But they are assistant coaches. And I posted it. I said, hey, once again, the Dallas Cowboys right on cue. They're right on cue. You can hire all these African-American assistant coaches, but in 65 years, you've never hired a head coach, offensive coordinator, neither a defensive coordinator. So I don't want to hear the excuses anymore, people. Say that drama for your mama, as they say. I don't want to hear it. It is what it is. And I've been on, the record many a time trying to defend Jerry Jones and his decision making. But enough is enough. I've seen enough, especially when you get 9 to 11 qualified African-American coaches who could have been defensive coordinator, who could have been offensive coordinator, and who even could have been head coach. So again, now I'm starting to really wake up and see this organization, like my dad used to say back in the 70s, for what they really are. You can't tell me you go hire a guy who's never been a head coach, nor really an assistant coach, because it wasn't like he was calling offensive plays. I'm talking about Brian Schottenheimer. You just put that man in that position the same way you did Dave Campo back in early 2002. You just put him in a position. Because why, Jerry? You still got to get the credit. You still got to be in the way. I just don't get it, man. But yet you see what the Philadelphia Eagles have done. You see what teams like the Detroit Lions is doing. And you see what the Washington Commanders did even this year. They made at least to the NFC Championship game with a rookie quarterback. So, again, y'all keep rolling with that train if you want to. But this game tonight, again, shout out to the Philadelphia Eagles. They came out, handled business, did what they supposed to do. Cannot take anything away from them guys, man. That defensive front, definitely, in my estimation, my opinion, I think those guys are the MVP. They are your MVP. So, but let's talk about something else right quick. We'll talk about the Eagles, how they dominated these Kansas City Chiefs all day. But let me ask y'all something. Did y'all see that halftime show? Y'all shout out. Tell me, what did y'all think about that halftime show? Because it was, I don't know when Trash Man run on y'all days, maybe Friday, Saturday, whatever the case may be. But that's where that needed to be. And please, I know some of y'all out there talking about, it was all, metaphorically, allegorical. He was talking about 40 acres and a mule, and it was all about, I get all of that. But say that for when you in concert, because when you are doing as I said earlier, that was a concert. It wasn't a show. And you're entertaining millions of people around the world. You got to give a show-stopping performance. It's nothing about that halftime show with Kendrick Lamar that I can honestly hang my hat on and say, man, he did that. He did that. Nah, so bad Super Bowl. If you're an Eagle fan, great Super Bowl, right? But overall, bad Super Bowl performance, Bad halftime show. One of the worst I've seen in quite some time. I can't remember the last one. Maybe when they had the weekend. He should have took the weekend off when he performed at halftime because, I mean, that wasn't nothing either. But it was just bad all around. I'm glad I actually did my logistics earlier today because I wasn't really as fired up about this game anyway. But at the same time, it was interesting to see whether or not if Patrick Mahomes, the Kansas City Chiefs, would win their third straight Super Bowl. But again, that halftime show, I mean, yeah, I knew what he was doing just based on the songs, and then the number one song that everybody was waiting to hear, "They're Not Like Us." He don't really sing all of the rap all the lyrics. Yeah, he didn't mention nothing about the pedophile and dropping none of that. They cut all that out. As you probably figure they would, but I'm just simply saying that's the number one song in the country, right? But I'm saying I just like to believe had that been Master P merged that with a little Lil Wayne, a little New Orleans flavor, a little New Orleans culture, coming out with the horns and the white top, I think that could have been a total different performance. I really do. That's just my opinion. Because I'm sorry I like Kendrick Lamar. I'm not taking anything away from his gift, his rap skills, his lyrics, any of that. That was a concert. That wasn't a show. There is a difference. And they could have really kept that, on the West Coast. He came out with the one car. One like the car was dropping and nothing like that. It wasn't nothing like when Dr. Dre had his thing up in California, in my estimation. But that's what they chose to go with. That's what Jay-Z, chose to go with. That's what happened. And so I can't say too much about the halftime show at all either. So to me, it was just an all-around failure this year. As a Super Bowl, when you think about Super Bowl appearance and the expectations that you have when you're watching the Super Bowl, they had some funny commercials though. I think the commercials was a little bit better. I've seen better, but I think they was a little bit better. Other than years past, a recent past, I could say. But again, I'm disappointed in Super Bowl 59. And now they got to, have both Super Bowls. I think they playing twice in California. So go figure that out. Go figure that out. But again, I don't know how you all felt about it. I'm just only coming on here, sharing my viewpoints about it, my viewpoints about the game. Again, big shout out to Jalen Hurts. I'm glad to see him win his first Super Bowl. He deserved it. He was very humble in his acknowledgement, in his post-game comments. And it just seemed like he was just taking it all in. He was taking it all in and kind of reflecting on how hard it is to get there. I think that with Jalen, the things again that has happened to him throughout his career, it's paid off now. So the money that the Philadelphia Eagles gave him, it was worth it. Now, can we say that the same thing about Dak Prescott in the coming years? We'll see. The man is making $60 million a year. 60. Did you hear me? 60. And we ain't even been to an NFC championship game. I can't make any more excuses. Played that game too long, man. I can't make any more excuses. It is what it is at the end of the day. But I'm definitely gonna ride this thing out with my Dallas Mavericks. I'm definitely gonna ride that out. Yeah. So, but anyway, again, Super Bowl 59, is over. The season is over with. It's time to turn the page to the NBA now, and that's what we're looking forward to. This is my Super Bowl 58 hat. I had to throw this on because, again, at least that was better than 59. So, again, shout out to Jalen Hurts only, not them Philadelphia Eagles. And you fans out there, Philadelphia Eagles fans, y'all are still garbage in my estimation because you're classless. But again, you are in the NFC East, and we do appreciate still having the number one division throughout all the sports in the NFL league. I shouldn't say throughout all sports. I'm just specifically talking about the NFL. But they are in our conference. So, big shout out to the NFC East. But I just can't stand them Eagles, man. But they did what they had to do. And again, I'm happy for my man Jalen Hurts. But Cowboys, y'all see it. Y'all see the writing on the wall. Y'all see what happened. And I don't know what you're gonna do this draft. Draft is coming up. Jerry Jones, Myles Garrett, man, he said he want to be here. I want to see what you're gonna do, man. What kind of splash are you gonna make? But again, I just wanted to come on here, man, talk about this real quick with these Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. Super Bowl 59. Again, they dominate the Chiefs 40-22. Football season is over with. So I guess, guys, you got to find something else to do. But let's go ahead and root for these Dallas Mavericks, man. We're going to be all right as if you're a Mavericks fan. So anyway, we'll be back on talk NBA basketball pretty soon as well. This is the replay where we're still trying to subscribe, like, share button again. I appreciate y'all hopping on with me for a second to talk about this year's Super Bowl. Again, peace and love. We out.